Hey, and welcome to episode 16 of Think Like a Hacker. I'm currently in Denver at Lightworkers Republic with director Sean Corbett. We're collaborating on a certain film project that you might have heard about, and we're in post-production and things are going very well. Today's interview is with Cami Kaos. She is a community manager for the WordPress open source project. That means that Cami helps WordPress organizers globally set up WordCamps and run them, and helps them coordinate, provide resources, that kind of thing. It's a huge job. Cami's been doing it for about 6 years now, and when she started there were 70 WordCamps globally, and this year there'll be about 150. I chatted with Cami about how she deals with certain challenges like multilingual issues and that kind of thing, and we had a wonderful conversation. Here is Cami Kaos at WordCamp Orange County.
Hi, I'm Cami Kaos. I'm a community manager for the WordPress open source project, and I'm sponsored by Automatic.
Awesome. So, community manager for the WordPress open source project.
Says a lot and nothing at all.
What is that? What does that entail?
So I focus particularly on WordCamps and WordPress Meetup groups that are in our umbrella, our chapter account. And primarily I strive to make organizing official events for the WordPress open source project better for our organizers, who are all volunteers, and better for the attendees who they're working with.
Okay, so the organizers of WordCamps are reaching out to you for guidance and to help them do the things that they need to do.
So WordCamps are official programs of the open source project. So they're the one big official event that happens yearly in a lot of cities. And in order to organize an actual WordCamp, you have to apply with WordPress Community Support, which is the organization that oversees the WordCamp program. And so they reach out to us to say, hey, we'd like to do an event, and this is where we are. And then we vet them and review them to make sure that they're upholding the standards of the open source project, and then give them all the support that we possibly can to make sure that that event happens and happens well.
Okay. How long have you been doing that for?
6 years.
And how's it going?
Well, today's the 28th, 6 years tomorrow.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, it's going well. I enjoy it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been an interesting ride. You kind of start off doing one thing, lots of paperwork, and I was already a part of the WordPress community when I started. I was a blogger, and I had organized WordCamps and spoken at WordCamps. And when the job came up, I wasn't sure what to expect, but it's been a lot of growth. It's 6 years of meeting new people and learning as much from organizers as I hope they learn from me.
Okay. 6 years is quite a long time in the sort of WordPress space or ecosystem. I'm sure you've seen things change quite a lot during that time. What sort of changes have you seen?
Some changes, just growth. I mean, our program was much smaller when I started. I think there were around 70 WordCamps, maybe, and I don't believe we had yet started the chapter program, or we were just starting the chapter program for meetup groups. And so we've had growth and growing pains. Part of the transition was still, we were adjusting to the fact that the WordPress Foundation had kind of said, oh, WordCamps are official now. We have to find a way to oversee them and make sure that we're meeting the standards of the community and that we're respecting the trademark and that we're all GPL. And so there were growing pains involved with that. We had some growth, we had some dip off. I think some people thought that it was more about control than it was about support.
Okay.
And we have kind of moved past that, and now it's just our way of supporting. We're gonna have 150 WordCamps this year, I think.
Wow.
We have more than 600 meetup groups in our official chapter program. And we used to just focus on the little things. We used to just focus on, oh my gosh, how are we going to help these people pay the bills, because we're not there with a credit card in hand. It takes 10 days to get a check out. How can we make sure that this person's the right person to organize the event? And we have had so much growth, and we've had so much opportunity to work with volunteers in our community, that we've been able to take in all of those additional skills and talents and build the program out to be something that really benefits the community as a whole. We have deputies that go out to communities and help perform speaker trainings. We have grown a program for accessibility to make sure that our events are something that anyone can attend, whether they just can walk right in and do it, or if they need to have an ASL translator, CART services. We've been reaching out to make sure that nursing parents have a safe place that they can do that. We've been able to start scaling our programs with data, whereas before we just had spreadsheets and didn't have a lot of information. So the changes have been both person-focused and community-focused and data-driven.
Okay. So 150 WordCamps around the world, over 600 meetups. And is that 150 distinct cities?
Yes.
Or towns?
Yeah, that's in a year. So in 150, that's my estimation. I think we had 130 last year. And they will all be distinct individual WordCamps organized by local organizing teams that are not being paid to do that work.
How do you deal with the language issues? If someone from a country where you don't speak the language reaches out, how do you communicate with them?
We have deputies.
Okay.
So I unfortunately speak one language, and sometimes I struggle with English, especially when I haven't had my coffee.
You're doing pretty good.
Thank you. We have a few bilingual members on the team that is sponsored by Automatic. And then we have deputies all over the world who thankfully have English language skills and have been able to work with us and are now translating some of our support material. And we also have folks in Japan and many Spanish-speaking translators who do the orientations and help to train and communicate with members of teams around the world. But that's still lacking. I mean, it's a skill that's super important, and because we are mostly volunteer driven, it's something that we have a hard time saying, no, you have to be able to do this. So if you are an organizer and you're bilingual, help us out. Help out the community.
Awesome. If someone wants to get started creating a WordCamp in their city, what's the process?
If you are an active member, an active organizer of a meetup group, you just need to apply. And we consider an active meetup group to be someone that has consecutively met monthly for at least 3 months or more. And then you apply. It's a go to make.community or make community WordPress, and I will give you the link. I just forgot
We'll include it in the show notes for sure.
And there's handbooks on how to organize a meetup group. There's handbooks on how to organize a WordCamp, and there are handbooks on how to organize contributor days and to be a mentor. If you go to the Meetup section, it will tell you how to apply to organize a meetup. If you go to the WordCamp section, it will give you the application to apply to be an organizer. And that kind of kicks off the process.
Great. What do you think WordCamp does for WordPress?
One of the things that's always been most interesting to me for WordCamps, just the WordCamps just a standalone WordCamp, not one that does a contributor day or even a workshop, it brings awareness to a local community where it otherwise wouldn't happen. It's always been grassroots, it's always been word of mouth, and I've never been to a WordCamp where there wasn't a collection of people from that local community finding about WordPress for the first time, or diving into actually working with it and understanding that it's a project. Some people just think it's a place you go on the web, you get the blog software, and then you go and make a blog. And they don't understand necessarily the value of open source. They don't understand that it's an open source project. They might not know what an open source project is. And they might not understand that there's an entire community around it. And I think that's how we keep filling up our cups. We get new people into the program and through our meetup groups and in through our WordCamps. And they get excited just as so many of us have throughout the years. So it helps to replenish our volunteer base. And it's an open source project. That's what we are. It's a volunteer base.
I was chatting with someone, it might have been last night at the after party, and we were agreeing that WordCamps, they also help reconnect people because text communication can be a little bit devoid of emotional signals. And so getting together with people at WordCamps, it's almost like a little bit of healing happens. Do you think that's true?
It is. The face-to-face communication is important. That's the reason we require WordCamps to have active meetup groups, because we need people who are dedicated enough to one another and to the program to meet once a month and be excited enough to make this happen for other people. And and yeah, it is important to have that time to reconnect, which is the reason things like the Sunday social that'll happen at WordCamp OC today and the after party that happened last night are also important. It's not just about learning, it is about meeting new people. It's about understanding someone's personality so that when they do text you an incredibly dry message over Slack, you know
Right.
there's a wink along in there, or that they mean it kindly. But that's also one of the driving reasons that we've had in the past community summits. It's the same thing, giving a chance for contributors who are working so hard on this project to get to know the other people who are working hard on the project and find a way to come together harmoniously.
Awesome. Cami, is there anything else you want to share or chat about?
No, I'm good.
Okay, great. If folks want to follow you on Twitter or contact you, do you have? Is there a way for them to do that?
I am Cami Kaos almost everywhere. It's Cami Kaos. And if you need to get a hold of me about WordCamps, you can email support@wordcamp.org. Same for meetup groups.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for the chat. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks very much to Cami for chatting with me at WordCamp Orange County. I really enjoyed our conversation. I would have liked to have chatted a little longer, but as you probably heard, there was a talk busy setting up behind us and getting going, and so we only chatted for about 10 minutes, but I think we got some really great insight into how WordCamps are run and organized and coordinated. You can find Cami Kaos on Twitter at Cami Kaos, that's with a C and a K. You can find her on WordPress Slack and WordPress at Cami Kaos as well. You can find me on Twitter at mmonder. My co-host is on Twitter at Kathy Zant. And if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely like and subscribe. It helps us get the word out there. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, everyone.